Hey, this is 3 years now, this January, that I've been dealing with tinnitus and all this shit, neck problems. I just can't believe I've been dealing it for 3 years. 3 years of waking up every day and wanting to die. Ugh. But, it's been getting somewhat better since doing the PICL and doing the posterior injections and physical therapy and all that stuff. I I just can't believe it's been 3 years. Um, I went for a walk today for down to a local diner and actually ate. I ate there, which I was worried wasn't going to be able to do, but I was able to do it, and it didn't wasn't really that bad. Um, but I was tired. Like I had when I got back home, I was like, all right, I got to rest for a while. And yeah, so God, I just made a vegetable smoothie. I did one fruit. I had the the orange the grapefruit. I had half a grapefruit in it. Tasted so bad. It was so. I mean, it's really healthy. It makes me feel great, but I put in some stevia to sweeten it, but just something in it. I don't know. I felt like I was gonna throw up, so I just threw out the second half of it. It's like I don't want to throw up. um, I'm trying to locally. I'm trying to do prolotherapy injections like C2 to C7. I think that's like $400. So that's pretty cheap if I can do that. Um, because like 5,000 for PRP at regenexx is like I can't work, and I don't think I'm ever gonna get disability. So they're just like, yeah, you're fine, just go work. I'm like, I can't. Like if I go make myself breakfast, I have to like sit down. Um, I can't look at a screen very long. Even with these help. I don't have vertigo so bad. Like if I look at a screen without these, like I get vertigo almost immediately, because I have like PTSD from looking at screens and it aggravating my neck and going through all like those intense neurological problems. It's like worse than dying, and looking at a screen exacerbates that. If I I think at least it did, and I have like PTSD from that. So as soon as I look at a screen and like I feel that like light on my eyes and the refresh rate and the strain, and it's like I tense up my neck in the back, and then it starts to burn and it gets really bad, and then it just gets worse and worse. But these, I can look at it for a few minutes, and they're great in general. If you look at a computer screen to have blue light blocking things, because these just like clip on, so you can take them off. Um, and yeah, they make it severely reduces eye strain. I used them for years while I was working. Um, but yeah, I mean, this started in this basement. I used to live in this basement. I finished up school. I went back to school, finished up, and was working for American Electric Power from this basement because of COVID. I was just like, whatever, I'll just work. And then eventually I just like, okay, I'll get an apartment. But the tinnitus and the problems started here. And and just got worse and worse. It's really bad. You know, I mean, the only reason I'm even alive is because I don't own a gun, and because euthanasia is not legal. If it was, I'd be dead. This is hell, and nobody really gives a shit, except for the people suffering from this. Um, so, that's frustrating too, because like you tell people, and I've got severe neurological problems, tinnitus, and they just look at you like you got two heads. They're just like, what the fuck? And then just go on about their day. Like nobody gives a shit. Um, it's like when you have chronic illness, like your friends leave you. Lost all my friends. Family won't talk. They don't talk to me. Like if I text them or call them or email them, it's like they go out of their way to not respond. Generally, uh, I have family members like make fun of me, you know, like to my face, and act like it's not a big deal. Me crying or whatever. I've been abused by family members. I was told I should kill myself by family members. Um, and I didn't do anything to anyone except suffer. like, you know, suffer and ask for help. And people act like I was weak, you know? And it's like, I work out more than most people, and my neck's broken. like, probably like 90% of people out there, I work out more than they do. And I have my neck's broken. So, like, what does that say about the rest of the people in the world? Are they all weak? Because if we're all weak, then none of us are weak. So, what does that even mean anymore? Um, most people, I never met anyone with craniocervical instability that does what I do physically. Um, though I am careful because I don't want to hurt myself. But after being bedridden, I was like, I'm never going to stop exercising again. I don't care if it kills me. I don't care if I fucking die. Like, I'm not going to stop exercising. So I do it carefully, but I'm not going to stop. So, like, I go for a walk and I don't push it to the point where it's hurting. I just walk until, like, I'm tired and then I'm done and that's it. And if I get up and I'm like doing chores and I'm like, oh, my neck's feeling tired, I go rest. And I'll push through it because it's the same with like if I was doing bicep curls and I was, doing this and then my arms started getting tired, I push a little bit through some fatigue, but like if like my elbow started hurting or something, let's stop immediately. That's what you're supposed to do. Like NFL athletes aren't gonna push through like joint pain if they're doing workouts. Like nobody should be doing that because if you do that, you damage the joint, and then it takes forever to get better, and then you can't work out. So like you can't hurt yourself when you're working out. Very counterproductive. And obviously my neck's so much more fragile, so I'm really just like I mean I write down what I do. So like I do an easy amount, and then and I always give 4 day or 3 days between exercises to give my connective tissue time to catch up because the muscle grows quick, but connective tissue does not. So and plus when you're in like fight or flight all the time, like when you have like PTSD and the severe anxiety, like you don't heal fast. So like if I'm in like fight or flight all the time and I do like a set of 10 arm curls, when I wait 3 days and I get back that fourth day and then I do another set of 10, I can't do any more. I can still only do 10 because my body hasn't healed at all. Because when you're in fight or flight, your body just does not heal. And that's the muscle, which heals quick. So it's like, I really have to focus on like taking myself out of panic mode, even when I hear tinnitus. And even though I look at my life, even though and it's like so shitty, and even though I'm alone, or I'm scared, like because I'm thinking like, well, what if I hurt myself? What if I never get better? You catastrophize, or just for whatever, just dealing with this horrible shit. You feel horrible. You feel this terrible anxiety and stress, and it's just stress, stress, stress. Because it's like everything's it's a big deal. Like I get up and put my coat on. That's not just getting up and putting my coat on. I can't move like I used to move. I can't just, you know, like because if I could move how I used to move, I'd throw this blanket off me, pop up in like half a second, go grab the blanket, bend over, pick up my shoes. Like I wouldn't carefully do anything, so I have to like carefully do everything so I don't aggravate my neck. Because like one quick jerk of my head, I could aggravate a ligament, and that could hurt for like 3 weeks, and I can't do exercises. But it's like so. Um, I mean, I did injure myself. I was doing pull-ups and like I I pulled my pectoral muscle right where it attaches, and I couldn't use that arm for a month. So it's like I couldn't do exercises for a month because I just overdid it on one exercise. So it's like, yeah, it's really I'm real sensitive. So uh, I try to keep myself in the mindset where I'm calm and then also be careful. But trying to keep myself calm is really hard because I frequently catch myself like getting extremely, extremely stressed, and I have to talk myself out of it and calm myself down and do things that are calming, think thoughts that are calming. And it's hard, especially when I'm alone at night and I'm just laying in bed and I'm in pain because of, these spots on my neck or my shoulders hurting or, and I'm just laying there and I'm just in pain and I hate my life and I'm all these thoughts. I'm just alone with my thoughts. Like I can't listen to like podcasts and stuff because it's too distracting and I can't sleep. So it's like I'm just alone with my thoughts. My thoughts are just like, how do I get out of this? How do I fix this? And I'm like, I can't. I don't want to think. That's like work. I don't want to think about that now. I want to go to sleep, but I have to like, calm it. Yeah. So it's like a whole thing. And I try to get people to like talk with like therapy. Like I've talked to 4 different therapists, and they're just like, I don't know what to tell you. Because like I have a physical health problem that if it went away, I wouldn't have any mental health problems. I'd be fine. I might have a little PTSD like from looking at like computer screens, but I'd get over that. If my health was just fine, I'd be fine. I'd be going down to the YMCA and shooting hoops and applying for jobs tomorrow. Like it's not like I'm not screwed up in the head. It's just a constant daily pain and physical limitations that drive me nuts. And they don't know what to do. Um, like nobody treats chronic illness. Like mental health professionals don't treat it. Emergency rooms don't treat it. Doctors don't treat it. Like orthopedic doctors, rheumatologists, um, like just nobody treats chronic problems. Because if you got a chronic problem, you would think like, hey, that's profitable. I should say nobody solves chronic problems because a doctor will see you 100 times and take your money and just say sorry. All I can do is give you painkillers. But I mean, like people don't help people with chronic problems. Um, Generally speaking, even the physical therapy, you think, oh, physical therapists, like they help people. It's like, not really. Most physical therapists, like, they're not giving you exercises that are going to solve the problem. Like, I went down to the orthopedic doctor the other day, and this guy had a lower disc problem, and I knew they were going to refer him to, they're either going to do surgery or they're going to refer him to physical therapy. But you always do physical therapy first, unless it's like really bad. Um, so I told him, I was like, you need to do a reverse hyper because a reverse hyper is a machine that decompresses your spine while strengthening it. So it pulls your legs down away from your back. So it stretches out your spine, but you're lifting weights. You're like lifting your legs up and down. There's weights on the end of your legs, and you're lifting your legs up and down using your back while it's pulling your legs away from your body. So your spine's decompressed and strengthening it. And it's the only exercise that you can do for the back where you have to pull the legs away somewhat. Maybe somebody could invent a different machine that does something similar, but right now the reverse hyper is the only machine that decompresses your spine and strengthens your back. So you're strengthening it in the decompressed position so it will hold the decompressed position when you're sitting and standing and walking and so on. and then it allows the disc to heal, and so you don't have a herniated disc. And they're not going to suggest that to them, to him. So his wife wrote it down, like what the machine was, but no physical therapy place even has that machine. So, like maybe a couple places in the country might. So, and then like, how many physical therapist places have pools, right? Like, people should be in pools for physical therapy. And they're like, they could say, go to a pool and do these exercises. That happens. People go, but a lot of times, like physical therapy is like you just do it on your own. Like you have to figure out like how to strengthen yourself. I mean, the best way is you go on YouTube and just like look up your injury and look up the physical therapy exercises, or go on a Facebook group. You know, so it's like there's not professionals that help people with chronic illness, generally speaking. Uh, they're if the ones that exist are incompetent and out of date, um, and the ones that do exist don't take insurance because insurance is like that's not real medicine, and it's like, well, the medicine the insurance is covering isn't real medicine, right? Like if I have problems with inflammation, nobody's like, hey man, go take turmeric. They're just like, yeah, take this like pharmaceutical drug that's gonna like fuck up your balls. I'm like, okay, why? Like, I could just, instead of 2 turmeric, I could just take 8. There. Now I'm more powerful than the pharmaceutical drug. Like, what the? It's just dumb. A lot of pharmaceutical. Some pharmaceutical drugs are great, and if I break my arm, I am gonna go to the ER, and it's just the chronic stuff. Like, it's just basically if a doctor can't patent it, if a corporation can't patent it, then how the doctor is going to know about it, like if because the corporation that patents it will send people out to talk to doctors. But if I have some like new discovery on medicine that's like free available to everyone and just people don't know about it, like how many doctors are going to find out about it, like they would have to actively go look around on the internet for that. Like people aren't going to their office and talking with them, they are calling the doctors and talking with them and giving the doctors like dinners and shit like that to like hang out and cash gifts and all kinds of shit. So yeah, doctors are like they just know the stuff you can patent. So like stem cells and PRP can't patent it. Doctors don't. We have an orthopedic doctor to know anything about regenerative medicine. I talked to him. Is like he didn't know. Like I was talking about PRP and stem cells. And I was like all my neurological problems I had, and then I got stem cells or PRP, and they were gone. And then stem cells helped me walk without a neck brace. Um, and without it, I wouldn't be able to walk without a neck brace. Like if it wasn't for the PICL, I just wouldn't be able to walk. So, and he's not even aware of it. And it's like, what? Like you're a guy that deals with the spine, and you're not aware of like. I understand if like he didn't know every regenerative therapy doctor in the world, but like Centeno and Schultz, like you don't know the best doctors in the world for regenerative medicine. Um, and I mean, I personally, I think Dr. Papas in Tampa is better at posteriors. But I mean, like he was taught by them. People that are taught by Dr. Schultz and Dr. Centeno are likely to do what they do and then improve upon it and become better than they are, and that's what you hope for. That's something you teach. So I think newer generation of people that are Gen X are even better. But it's like you should at least know them. No idea who they are. No idea how much regenerative medicine even costs. Um, and the doctor told me he's like, you don't have instability. Like he had me do flexion extension. I was like, why? Like I have a problem on the side of my vertebrae, like here. Like there's no like it's right on the transverse process. Those two spots I have on either side of my neck, they're like right on the edge of the bones on like C5. And so I'm like, why should I do this? They're like, well, they want to see if your spine's in alignment. And I'm like, well, it is, except at the top, and there's also cervical curve. But I'm like, okay, fine. But he wants to see it, and I didn't bring any CDs with me, so I'm like, whatever. Um, but then he gets the flexion extension, and he's like, yeah, you don't have instability. And he was like happy to tell me that. I'm like, yeah, I do. Like, I have very severe instability. Like, I probably have worse instability than anyone you've ever seen in your life, and may ever see in the rest of your years. Um, doing this. I might be the worst. Um, I'll certainly be one of the worst for his entire career. And he's looking at me saying with a straight face, like, you don't have instability. And it's like, I did this and I did that. And he's like, all right, you're good. And I'm like, I explained to him, I was like, well, see, the thing is, the neck like moves this way, right? And then this way. There's six ranges of motion for the neck, and then there's combinations of those. So you could be fine with all six ranges, but in a combination, like down diagonally down to the right, then you have a major problem, right? So like even that, and I was like, you really need a digital motion X-ray because what you did is two angles, two pictures. What the digital motion X-ray is thousands of angles and thousands of pictures. Same kind of imaging. It's just thousands or two. So that's just simple math. It's not like oh there's more to it with a flexion extension. No, there's not. You do flexion extension in digital motion X-ray, and you do these, and you do these, and with your mouth open and with jutting your chin out and tucking your chin in and all these sorts of different movements. So thousands and I mean 30 frames per second, and you may be doing it for like 10 minutes. So I mean, do the math. Like 600 times 600, 600,000 images versus, did I do that right? Yeah, 30 frames, 10 minutes. Um, I guess you probably do like 5 minutes of video. Yeah, it's probably more like 5 minutes. So 5 minutes, 300 seconds, and then so 300 seconds at 30 frames per second. Yeah, I was way off. It's not 600,000, but 9,000, right? So like 9,000 images and 9,000 angles versus you know two, and that's it. And it's just like, and I'm like, and he and everyone that comes in there with like instability is gonna be like, hey, everyone with chronic neck pain who goes in there should be getting a digital motion X-ray if it's on their neck, and none of them will. And none of them are going to identify instability. And maybe a few people a year they're going to identify flexion extension problems, a few, but they're going to miss 95% in the high 90s for people that are unstable. They're going to miss. And those people are going to walk around with neck pain thinking like, "Oh, I just got to live with this." And you know, they're not going to know any better. So I told the doctor, I left a review on Google Maps for that place, Orthopedic One, to be like, yeah, this guy's like fucking up bad. And also, Orthopedic One has O1, like O and like atomic number one, or not atomic number. Um, uh, or yeah, yeah. But so there's one atom. It's not like O2, which is oxygen, right? But O1, there's one atom. O2 is a molecule, two atoms of oxygen. O1 is one. So the only place you encounter O1 is like in where there's like no oxygen, because there's like the atoms looking and looking and looking and can't find other. I mean, it's not looking, but if it encounters other oxygen atoms, it'll form a molecule and turn into oxygen. And if there's no oxygen around, it doesn't happen. And there has to be very little oxygen because, like, it's pretty reactive. So it'll find, even in thin air, there won't be much O1. But so, like, outer atmosphere, the surface of Mars, like stuff like that, you see O1. So it's basically, if you're encountering O1, you're dying. Um, So I don't think that's a good logo for an orthopedic place. Orthopedic one. I mean, they could do some cool stuff with that. Um, and so anyhow, uh, yeah, I keep getting stronger on a weekly basis, just a little bit. But like if um, I I'll do like one more rep on the curls, or one more second on a yoga stretch. Uh, and I start the yoga when I do like a new yoga stretch. I'll start at like 5 seconds, and it's like I can do 5 seconds of any yoga stretch. That's fine. But if I just start off like some random yoga stretch for like 30 seconds or a minute, I could just like severely hurt myself. But I can do like five, and then wait 3 days, and then do six, and then wait 3 days and do seven. And my body's like slowly adapting over time to be able to do it. And then, and now I'm doing like 21 seconds of a pose, and I feel no pain. I feel no, I feel I'm just fine. So it is possible to get stronger when you're even this fucked up. But it is extremely demoralizing because it's so slow. Because, like, I mean, I used to work out 10 times as fast as this, or 5 times as fast as this. I mean, I used to have one day of rest between exercises. You know, I don't know, maybe that's why I'm in this position. Maybe I hurt my neck over the years weightlifting and stuff. I don't know. Um, Looking to go swimming for physical therapy as well. I think the prolotherapy is like $400 will help if I can do that, like C2, because I have a lot of issues like with the transverse process C2 and C5. Like they just hurt. Like if I bend over and just like lean like that, I'm gonna hurt at the top of C1. I'm still careful. Like I don't swing like I'm like whipping my head around like crazy. Like I don't trust my C1, but I have no pain there. Like, so I'm like, I'll get tired, like right around the base of my skull, right in the middle. The muscles, I'll be like, man, I can't hold my head up, and I don't force through it because I don't want to injure myself. But like, if I like did that like 10 times, I'd be like, man, I gotta sit down because like my those muscles are now tired, and I can't hold my head up. Like Jesus, this is like a bobblehead now. It's like So uh, and I've been doing that exercise too, like head curls or whatever you call it. And over time, I'll do more and more, but very slowly. And so, anyway, I'm doing that, and up and around C1, it doesn't hurt, but I feel like burning around C, and I have for the last 3 years. This isn't just like a new thing. Like right around the transverse process of C2, I've had burning. Uh, I mean, when I first had it, I thought I had a tight spot. I was like, why is it so like hard there? It's hard because it's bone. It's bone. That's why it is always stiff there, because it's actual bone. But around it and on it is where the ligaments connect. It's where vertebrae, the connective tissue between the vertebrae connect, and it's where ligaments connect to the vertebrae. And so, like, leaning over at a computer, looking at my cell phone all the time, like, that's why they always hurt, because it was always strained. So it was always like a sore spot. But like, if I'm trying to do chores, or if I'm trying to, wash dishes, or just bend over to pick up something on the ground, like, and right where, on the right, like, not right at the base of the skull right there, there's connective tissue in your whole occipital ridge. It's just like a fabric of a web of tissue. But right near the base of my skull here, and then on the other side, it hurts. I think on the right side it's torn because the chiropractor like jerked my head, and that might have started all this like back in like I was thinking like 2004 as the first time I had a chiropractor crack my neck, and I had mild tinnitus since then, and um, that might have started all this back then. Because I don't know, I was having problems with my back, and actually, no, I had back problems and sitting problems before that, so I likely had pretty significant C1 issues before that. Because like in high school, I couldn't sit or I couldn't stand like in one spot. Like I see other people like standing for hours at jobs and stuff. And I physically couldn't do it. Like I could not stand up even when I was 16. So I think maybe I took like fell when I was a kid or something, twisted. Because when I realigned my C1, because it was much more misaligned I'm able to like sit up without back support. I can stand up. I mean, I'm weak now, but I didn't have the same problem standing as I used to so I know things were not aligned correctly even when I was like at a very young age, and who knows, maybe I was like dropped when I was a baby. I don't know. I know I fell on my head a bunch when I was like a toddler, and playing sports, you bang into other people, you get knocked on your ass wrestling with friends, someone like lands on your neck, trampoline, like you know, kids' necks go through a lot. So I don't know, but also having Lyme, I might have had Lyme since I was a kid because I remember when I was a kid, I was throwing a baseball, and I was like, I played baseball every year, and my and I was a pitcher and all this stuff, and so like I could throw a ball no problem, and then one day I just couldn't. When I throw the ball, my shoulder would like it felt like bad, and it wasn't like I was doing it a ton. It was just like I was doing it the same as every other kid, and I was a kid, and my shoulder I just couldn't like. I used to be able to throw a ball, farther than anybody, and then it was just like it just didn't work anymore. And I also like stopped being able to like squat. Like I couldn't play catcher because I couldn't squat down because my knees were hurt too bad, and no other kid had that problem. I'm not saying like everyone's knees hurt if you squat in that position long enough, but like I couldn't do it for 30 seconds. Um, so and I'd been getting bit by a lot of ticks when I was a kid. I just thought it was funny. Like these things would like bite you, and then it was gross, and then you'd find them in the shower, and they'd be all like big and like on your inner thigh or something. Yeah, I was always out in the woods getting ticks and getting bitten. So it's like I think I could have had Lyme since and I had connective tissue injuries more easily than anyone. Like growing up, like always hurt my knee or my ankle, or like I had so many sprained ankles playing soccer and stuff. It was ridiculous. Um, and but I was a swimmer mostly, so I was strengthening my joints a lot. There's no problem swimming. So yeah, I think that could have fucked me over a long time ago. Having chronic Lyme and Bartonella, and maybe I can get rid of it and fix my neck curve. I'm back on using the 15-pound neck weight, but I do like a minute and a half 3 times a day, every 4 days. So over time I'll increase that minute, 45 of 2 minutes, 2 minute 15 seconds, so on. As my neck feels a lot stronger. Like when I first moved here and I tried to put on the neck weight, I was like, I couldn't hold it up for like a minute. Now I put it on for a minute 30, and it's like it doesn't feel like anything. And I can feel like masses of tissue in front of like I used to be able to just feel my vertebrae easily, and now there's like a bunch of tissue. There's like muscle in the way. Like I can't touch it anymore because it's just all this muscle in the way. And so it's like there's definitely more muscle there. Um, so it's there. I think I still need another one more BICL, no matter what, because it just doesn't feel quite right when on my head, when I'm rotating my head, when I'm bending. It just doesn't. It's getting stronger, but like I think I need just you know I don't want to be sort of okay. I want to be like strong. Because if you're weak, then I could trip and fall or something and get it just all right. Now I'm bedbound again for 12 months, and like I think I would just kill myself if that happened, because no one's gonna help me, like not anymore. So I mean, people help me with GoFundmes and stuff, but like if I need like a PICL in like 2 weeks, like nobody's gonna help me with that. I'm dead. Like so, trying not to re-injure myself because I'm not gonna do that again. I'm not gonna, you know. Although I guess if I injured myself that bad to where I was having like severe neurological problems, maybe somebody would actually do surgery on me. Like neurosurgeons would actually take it seriously because they're just like, well, man, like, well, then you wouldn't have range of motion. That would suck. I'm like, okay, let me just close the door over here. And this is hypothetical, okay? YouTube, don't ban me. I'm not advocating for violence. But I'm just saying this is the kind of fear and anxiety this would produce. Like if I held a gun to the neurosurgeon's head and just like, all right, we're just gonna sit here. And he'd be like shitting his pants and all that. And like, oh my god, I don't wanna die, I don't wanna die, and all that shit. And again, I'm not saying I would ever do this. I'm just saying like the fear response would be like, um, that's what you feel when you're dying of craniocervical instability. So like I'd say, okay, so you feel that like all 24 hours a day. Um, so um, so like having a gun to your head 24 hours a day. So there's like a show him like, hey, this is what you know. And he'd be like, all right, can we stop doing this? Can we stop doing it? It'd be like 5 minutes in. I'd be like, no, man, you got 3 more years of this shit. You got 3 more years of me following you around. You go into the bathroom, well, I'm coming too, and I'm holding the gun to your head. And I might fire it off near your head just to keep you jumpy, you know, just a couple times, and just say like, all right, after 3 years of this, would you like this to end? Do you think it'd be a good thing? Do you care more about your range of motion of your neck, or do you think like this terrible scenario should end? What do you think? What do you want? It's like they're so aloof, they're so unconcerned, and just which blows my mind because they see their patients, But I think the really really fucked up ones that are like screaming constantly and like I'm like sort of manageable, so I'm not totally fucked um, every second of every day. So like they look at me and think he's fine, but like the people that are like actually screaming and crying and all that shit, they'll operate on them and try sometimes, you know. But I'm not doing that, you know. I can't fake it. Like the thing is too, like when I actually go to talk to someone who's willing to listen, that makes me happy. That gets like a weight off my shoulders so I can talk to a doctor about all this horrible shit that like you know so and so I'm not like super super fucking sad. I mean, I have cried in front of the doctors before and at the doctor's office. It's horrible. I hate going to the doctor. I cry almost every time. It's so traumatic for me to go to because all they do is they look you in the eye and say you're fine and smile, right? So it's like I got this gun to my head, I got this craniocervical fusion, craniocervical instability, and I got this PTSD, and they just look at me and say, "You're great, no help for you," and it's the it's the most unbelievable mind fuck. Like it's so fucking insane. And you try to talk sense to them, and they're just like, "No, I know more than you." And it's like, "No, no, but you don't. But here's the research I did." Oh, that doesn't matter. And it's like, "I'm dying." No, you're not. And it's like, uh, like the fuck? And like, I told many doctors, like, I was like, I have a systemic connective tissue problem. Can you help me find it? And they're like, well, you go see a rheumatologist. I go to the rheumatologist, and you know what he tells me? I don't know. Sorry, I don't know. I'm like, well, so what do I do? He's like, I don't know. Sorry, you'll have to, try to find another doctor to help you. And it's like, why do I have to do that? If I go to a car mechanic and he can't fix my muffler, you know what he does? He says, hey, there's a muffler expert over there. You know? This guy won't even tell me, like, another doctor that's like, hey, man, like, come to me if you have connective tissue problems you can't figure out. You know? Where's that fucking doctor? Like, you know? That should be on, like, why is there not like someone he knows that he can just email and be like, hey, talk to this patient I got. Um, but I have to figure that out. And then like they're like, oh, go to Mayo Clinic, and I'm like, I call Mayo Clinic. They're like, well, we don't take your insurance. It's like, okay, but even the Mayo Clinic wouldn't have identified the Lyme problem. I had to do that because I talked with other people. Oh, freaking, it's hard to talk. It hurts my neck. Because if I just like relax my head, it's hard for me to enunciate. So I have to lift my head up a little bit. Uh, so um, so the I figured out through talking to other people that just like randomly develop CCI with like no car crash. You just start having it, and I was like, "What is up with you guys?" Like, I met several that had Lyme, and I was like, and then I told the ones that didn't also were like me and didn't know. I said, maybe you have Lyme. And they got tested and they had Lyme. So I was like, oh, I think I have Lyme. And everyone's like, Neve, why would you have Lyme? You don't have Lyme. And I was like, I'm going to get tested. And then I got tested and they're like, negative. And the Western blot test is like bullshit. So I was like, all right. So then I went to Serenity Health in Wisconsin. They're like, yeah, you got Lyme. And you've had it for a long time. I was like, thank you. But I had to do that. I had to. I knew I probably had it and I had to get tested. It's like I've had to do every fucking thing because these fucking doctors don't do shit. They don't do shit. I've never met lazier people in my life than doctors. At any profession. People I worked with at pizza delivery work way harder than any doctors do. Like, I just, God, if you're a medical doctor now, I have zero respect for you because you're a piece of shit. I mean, that's where you're starting off. And if you're a good doctor, I will quickly learn that you are a good doctor. And I will respect you. And I will show you respect. I mean, I'll treat you respectfully anyway. But, like, inside, I'm thinking, like, yeah, this guy's probably a piece of shit. So, yeah, 3 years, man. 3 fucking years of wanting to die. And no disability. And pretty much no help from friends and family. And I've just been abandoned to die by society in general. So, yeah, good times.